Hey guys, and welcome to Video Game Guts,
where we get inside the guts of the video games.
We're here for episode 4 of Video Game Guts on YouTube for you guys and on SoundCloud for your ears. How you been, Daryl? We've been playing some video games. We've been having a lot of video game fun the last 2 weeks, haven't we?
We've been playing a pretty good amount of games. Overwatch is obviously taking up most of the time.
That was the big release.
That is the big release, and it's getting better as it goes on, so I'm pretty pumped about it.
We had a whole half a show about Overwatch, so we won't jump into it just now on the show, guys. But what we're going to start off is talking about Battlefield 1, which recently got announced that they're going to have a 64-player live multiplayer demo at their E3 EA Play that's going to be on June 12th through the 14th. And that's really cool because we're going to get our first-hand look at that massive combat that Battlefield always brings to us. What are you kind of hoping to see from that, Daryl?
I mean, this is exactly what we wanted to see. We wanted to see a good sample size, so a full match is exactly what, would do the trick for that. I'm hoping to see a little more close quarters combat. I feel like in a Battlefield, usually it's an advantage to kind of be a little more further away, so to reward some trench warfare and kind of keep people up close, I think that'd be a pretty cool feature to have in there.
I'm totally on that because World War I was a trench war. I mean, it started in 1914, so we didn't have amazing technology. So I'm hoping to see some more guerrilla stuff, like landmines, maybe things like that. I'm also hoping to see us be able to play as more countries in multiplayer. In the past, it's always just been US, Russia, US, China.
Yeah, there were more countries that fought in a whole world war besides three countries.
I would be okay with seeing that. On terms of maps, anything specific you want to see? I mean, obviously it's going to be old-timey. We'll see a lot of destruction, but any locales maybe you want to see from the war?
When I learned a little bit about the war in high school and things like that, I kind of like the desert warfare in North Africa and stuff like that. And that also, there's the kind of desert and the jungles are there too. So it gives you a variety of different things. It's not just one kind of, it's just towns or it's just this or different cities. You can only do so much of cities. So given different landscapes, I think is going to add a lot more variety to the game. I mean, and I would like to see more gadgets to add into the game. I mean, we're talking some incendiary, napalm, gas, having maybe gas masks and things like that or whatever.
Definitely,
to go around
that was definitely a big part of that.
Into it, I think that'd be exciting.
Absolutely, I'm definitely hoping to see. We saw some biplanes in the trailer, so I'm definitely looking to see more maps that will feature multiple planes rather than just we're obviously not going to see helicopters in that time, but we'll probably see multiple biplanes with guys on the turrets, so that'll be cool, really exciting, depending on the maximum amount of people. Apparently the tanks will fit about a whole squad, which tends to be 5 on Battlefield 4, so that's going to be really cool. I mean, everybody's excited to see what Battlefield 1 has in store. It kind of has blown Call of Duty out of the water as it is right now.
Absolutely.
And this is their chance.
Another fan hope of mine, just as just kind of be wacky, would be a only vehicle game, where you could only be in a vehicle to do anything.
Yep.
I don't know how that would work when you disable a vehicle, but I guess you're just in it till you die or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I could see something like that. I know they've
it'd
tried
be interesting
because
we all wait for vehicles sometimes for a lot, and people are sitting in the lobby waiting for that helicopter to come out, waiting for that tank to come out.
Air supremacy or something like that.
I saw a little bit of that.
But I think that was mostly jets.
Right track,
there was no helicopters.
Yeah.
But Battlefield 1 will be shown at EA Play, June 12th through the 14th. That's going to happen in LA and in London on the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll keep an eye up on that. That is going to be throughout the weekend leading up to E3. So we'll be updating you guys throughout that on our YouTube page and on Twitter, Video Game Guts. So be sure to follow us on that, guys. The next thing we're going to talk about is what everyone in the world, and at least the country, has been talking about for quite some time, and it's Overwatch.
Yeah.
It finally came out.
It did, and like I said, we're not going to get too much into it, but we're just going to talk about it, how successful it's been. I mean, it's been about as crisp of a game as I've seen from launch or whatever. I really haven't seen too many bugs. I haven't broken the game personally myself or anything like that, so I mean, that's always a good sign.
Did it meet expectations in your opinion? I mean, expectations were high.
Expectations were high, but after the beta where everybody was like, oh, that was the full game, what is this really giving us? I actually am on this thought process where I think that the game's gotten better as I played it, because now I've gotten comfortable with characters, and all of a sudden it's a completely different landscape. So it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, I spent last night, you got off because you had some family things to take care
Oh,
of
yeah.
today before we got to shoot tonight. But
Airboating this morning.
airboating, that's in Florida, man.
Oh yeah.
But I played last night for about 6 hours straight, like on it, like, you know, yeah, I ate something somewhere between there, but it was like 6 hours more or less. And like the only reason I got off was just because I was tired. Like it's such a fun game, and the more people you get in your squad, like the more people you actually know that you're playing with, the better that becomes, right? I mean, that's.
Oh, yeah.
It was me and you for quite some time, and that was fun. But once we added a third and a fourth, like it was infinitely more fun.
Oh, it became a whole different
Yeah.
game for us because
Yeah.
we had always just kind of hoped how our teammates did, and then we finally got into a party with 5, and then we finally, got the 6th person eventually or whatever.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing. We got 6
didn't
a few,
lose. We didn't
but,
lose
yeah.
that one time. Granted, we had one person who was absolutely just like
Yeah,
flawless
yeah,
mercy,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is great to have on the team.
It's always good
but,
to have a support here.
Yeah, a willing support hero. It's rare to
Yeah,
find.
we after you left, I think we won one game in like 2 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah.
So we were doing quite well, I'll say that. But we'll definitely be streaming Overwatch. We'll have that on Twitch throughout me and you playing together. We'll probably have party chat going on so people can hear both of us. And we'll definitely be playing as different characters. So if any of you haven't picked up the game yet, you can definitely check that out. Now things that came out this week. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. We talked about it on the last show, but now it's like out. We got to play it over the weekend on EA Access, but now it's like on Tuesday. It came out for everybody. What's your opinion on games that are just meant to be pretty?
I don't know.
Because that's what this is.
Yeah, because it wasn't like too much fun. I mean, like I get it. It's the whole parkour thing, and it's kind of fast, but it doesn't really have all of that to it. I mean, pretty is one thing, but playability is why we play the game. I'd rather play a game with graphics that aren't as good, but the gameplay be more fun.
That's true. I played through it a little bit through like the first level or whatnot, and the game just didn't offer me anything special. I just ran, and then, well, I didn't even run. There's no sprint button. You just,
I mean,
your
what was your thing in the difference
motion
between
is
that
to
and the
run.
first?
There is no walking.
Yeah.
So you just go forward, then you hit one button to climb something, you hit a different button to go under something, and then it's not the game, but like, I mean, how fun can that really be? Like, you occasionally run into somebody and you mash X like 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
And then you beat them down and then you move on. So like, I just don't see the fuss about it. If the game was like 20 or 30 bucks, I would be all over it. But for a $60 game, like, I got better things to do with my $60. Like,
Yeah, I don't think that's worth a full game.
Yeah, so I mean, we're picking at it, but I know a lot of people really wanted this game. This is like one of those cult classic type of games, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'll check it out some more throughout our EA Access. We have a 6-hour trial that you can pick up. That's a little bit shorter than the 10-hour trial most people get, but that's because apparently the game can be ran through so quickly. They don't want somebody running through most of it.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about games that came out this week, let's talk about games that are going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks in between our shows. First of all, we're going to have it's a game that's been out on the marketplace, but it's now just going to be the whole definitive edition, which is Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition that comes out on June 14th. I think you got a chance to look at some of the videos of it. It's a platformer in the terms of platformers, but it's unique, if you would say so.
I think so. It's definitely a side scroller,
Yes.
but the developers are definitely putting a lot of pride out on this, saying it's 4 years in development. Goes back to our theme of quality games take time.
Yep.
It has a little bit of puzzles and stuff like that are a little more traditional than just like the platforming, trying to jump up and down. And the story, just from what I saw or whatever, it was a really good trailer.
Yeah.
Pretty touching at the end or whatever. If you get a chance to watch it, I would go out and check it out.
And it looks like a really pretty game, like on terms
it
like
beautiful.
with Unravel. It's
I
got
know we
lights,
just talked about
a
the
lot
whole,
of lights.
just get a game based on the beauty, but the playability looks.
Yeah, the fact that it plays good.
amazing.
I mean, platformers tend to be not sloppy, but they're just basic. I mean, people can sometimes still lean on an 8-bit platformer, and it would do just as well as something like this.
Yeah.
So it's ambitious, and it worked out well because it's, like I said, it's something that's been out already, so the reviews are out on it.
Yeah,
This is just the definitive edition coming out, and for the price, it's really worth it. It's not too expensive. I believe it's gonna be 20 bucks. So it might be 30. I will check for you guys right now.
Yeah, I saw
But that
20
game is
bucks.
totally worth it. Like, for a definitive edition, it comes with all the DLC. Like, if you think about this, and the game is only $19.99. But if you think about this, like people bought this game for potentially $20 at base, and then bought DLC on top of it for $5 or whatnot. So us getting it for $20, and if you're Amazon or Best Buy, you get it for like $16.99.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it. It has couch co-op, which I think is a lot of people complain that games don't have couch co-op, but it's got it.
It doesn't exist anymore. Yeah.
So, and another staying on par with platformers in the true platformer way, in terms of Mega Man almost, is the new game that's been delayed a few times, but is popular. Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9, man.
You saw some videos
Beetle
and you just
platformer
like,
is
oh
happening
yeah.
out here. But yeah, I did get to see some of this Mighty Number 9. It was a little bit more of a shooter platformer. This one more traditional in terms of you're actually trying to jump from thing to thing, less than more puzzles and things like that. So it was a little bit different, but apparently it has some of the Mega Man developers are working on it.
And it looks like it. It looks like
does
it's
look
got
like
a little
it.
Mega
It's got
Man skin on it. Yeah.
The drawing, the kind of cartooniness of it.
Yeah, a lot of people have been excited for that. I think it's been delayed a few times, so there was like some speculation on if it's gonna be good. I mean, the game comes out June 21st, so we'll find out on that Tuesday like what it's about. But it's worth checking out. I think these platformers, they're not trying to tout themselves as $60 games. Like for $20, $30, these games are definitely worth picking up. Mighty Number 9 is interesting. It looks interesting because it's a platformer, but everybody loves Mega Man, so if they did it right, it could be a recipe for success. Another game that we're just going to mention. Literally, we'll just mention it in case one of you guys wants to buy it.
I mean, just because it's in the season.
And I think it's only for the Wii U, sorry.
Yeah.
But Mario and Sonic go to the Rio 2016 Olympics.
It's a lot less exciting than it sounds.
I mean, I didn't make it sound very excited.
But it's Mario and Sonic sound exciting.
I can imagine the game is fun.
They could go to a lot of other places.
They're going to go to the Winter Olympics in 2 years. That'll be exciting.
They got to get ready.
But like,
is that where they've been?
With Summer Olympics, I could see like they can totally put together a makeshift basketball game and a makeshift soccer game, and like those sports can work. Winter Olympics, I'm not sure as much. Like, who wants to snowboard and stuff?
I could see it being a fun party game.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, it's on the Wii U for a reason. Obviously, I mean, first of all, it's a Mario license. But let's be honest, like the game, it's for a niche market, and obviously, it's not like Call of Duty or anything where they release it every year. It's only every time the Olympics are coming around. So, I mean, I remember they went. I think Mario and Sonic went to the London Olympics 4 years ago. So.
They've been going everywhere.
You know, and that's
where will they stop?
We love London. So that's what's going to be coming out between now and our next show. But let's give some people some really juicy stuff now and give them a review of Uncharted, the new Uncharted 4. And for that, we're going to tag you out and we're going to bring in our devoted director, Bryce Brimhall, PlayStation expertise,
yes, this is just a way
to talk about Uncharted because
cool
he played it.
Game, so,
he got to play it for a week, so we'll see what he thought after playing it for a week, and he'll get a review for you guys. So let's tag team off the ropes.
Let's get out of here.
So Bryce, it is nice to have you on 2 episodes in a row.
Yes, it's so nice.
You're making records,
yes,
bro, right?
I feel famous now.
Don't get carried away.
Okay.
We're the famous ones.
Yeah, of course.
Just kidding.
Of course.
Just kidding. But let's talk about why we have you here.
Yes, sir.
Because we only bring you here for specific purposes.
One purpose.
Potentially, yeah. Or if we need somebody to trip over lights, we'll call you.
Okay,
anyways,
yes, I'm good at that.
We digress. So Uncharted 4.
Yeah, yes.
It has a tagline. What is it? Among Thieves?
A Thieves' End, actually.
Thieves' End. Because it's the end of
It is the last game in the series,
quad trilogy, whatever.
Yeah.
Quadrilogy.
It's number 4. It's the last one.
Yeah. So, what'd you think? What was early impressions?
Early impressions was that it's really cool. I had only experienced the first Uncharted game, and I just knew like the story of the second one and the third one. But this is my first time playing it, like actually sitting down and playing it, and the story is just great. Like you get really immersed. You're doing things you don't normally do in a video game. Instead of just running room to room and shooting people, you're solving puzzles. You're jumping and climbing a lot. So it's really exciting, and it definitely takes away takes you away from the regular video game experience.
Does it have some of that like Tomb Raider-esque feel where
Absolutely.
you're treasure hunting, I guess, is
Yeah,
what it was doing?
it's really similar to Tomb Raider. It's just obviously looks a lot better, and the story, in my opinion, is really encapturing. Like, it really is great.
How is, like you mentioned the story there,
Mm-hmm.
how does it feel like you're going through a movie? How does it feel like between what you're playing and then cutscenes themselves? How does that feel?
Well, since the graphics are so great on the PS4, the cutscenes really just go seamlessly between gameplay and cutscenes. Like, the camera will just zoom in, and now all of a sudden it's focusing on the conversation between characters, and it's just so seamless that it's just it really gets you immersed in the game.
Did you, despite not having quite played 3, like the one right before it,
Mhm.
did you feel immersed in that story?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't feel like I missed out on anything at all. I read up on the games just to see if there was anything
Yeah.
I'd be missing out on, and definitely not. He goes on a new adventure every time.
Yeah.
Just this game, he meets up back with his brother, and
Yeah.
so has to do
And
a
the
little
idea,
bit.
I think, is like because it's the fourth one, he's been trying to get out of the game for a while, right? And it's just
Mhm.
sucking him back in, the typical. what
Yeah,
we always
it's 10
see.
years after, and he's out of it. But his brother comes back, and he's in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
He owes the guy a lot of money,
Oh,
and
man.
the only way they can do it is this last.
Kind of like Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, this
Nick
last.
Cage.
Yep.
Nick Cage.
Mhm.
So it has multiplayer.
It does, yeah.
What's that even like? What
It's
is
a little.
that?
I think it's a little on the goofy side. I'm not very into it. It's really similar to the Lost Planet.
Okay.
The camera from the typical single player, the camera's back a little bit further, and it's a little bit more about running and swinging with your
Yeah.
grapple hook, and it's team deathmatch, and you get money based on each kill, but you're also collecting other treasures. And it's pretty competitive, but it's not going to be getting any tournaments or anything like that.
What's the team sizes? What are we looking at? 844?
I experienced a 5-on-5.
5-on-5. Okay.
I think it can get a little bit more than that, and
Okay.
you're just playing.
Is there only one game mode, like that game mode, or is there like deathmatch and like a point objective? And
There's a couple different ones. They're mostly centered around different ways to treasure hunt, like whether they drop
Okay.
from deaths or whether
Okay.
you
Can
gotta like capture the treasure, like
Okay.
capture the flag, you know.
Gotcha. So can you pick your characters pre-load-in screen? How's that work?
Yeah, the different characters are different characters from the game.
Yeah.
So you can be like Nathan Drake, his friend Sully. You can be like, and then the different villains from the game, like
Gotcha,
Rafe and stuff.
gotcha.
So.
And is it not? Does it have to be heroes versus villains, or can literally you be playing on a team with Drake and then some villains?
I'm pretty sure it's heroes versus villains. Like
okay.
if you ever played Battlefield, you know, it's
Yeah.
just like one team versus the other.
All right, Bryce. So overall, once you've played the game, just what do you think? Like, is it what everybody hypes it up to be, really? Because like me and Daryl won't get to experience this, so we're basing this on your opinion, and it's
Mhm.
obviously super hyped up by the PlayStation community. So
Mm-hmm.
is it that?
If you're a fan of the franchise, it's a must buy. Oh my gosh, attacked by moths. But it is still on me. But if you're a fan of the franchise, it is a must buy. Like it rounds the story off, and with the new next gen graphics, it's unmissable. If you're new to the franchise, I definitely would say wait for sale.
Okay.
Because
okay.
it's single player mostly. A multiplayer, I didn't really get anything out of it. But the single player, I enjoyed immensely.
So if somebody's getting on new to the Drake Uncharted franchise,
Mhm.
would you just suggest them maybe get on PS Now or something and play the first one for what would it cost you roughly, like if you wanted to just start playing the first one for like a month?
If you just want to play the first one for a month, I could be incredibly wrong, but I bet it's like somewhere in the realm of like $5.99 for
Okay,
a month.
so
something
it's
like
like
that.
it's gonna
$6,
be-
$8 maybe for a
We're
month.
potentially maybe pushing $10 at most.
Yeah,
but
at most
you
for a
can
month.
start and get your feet wet in that realm, in that world
Yeah.
before you go in. And this game probably, because like games like The Witcher and stuff like that, they hit discounts relatively soon. Not like super soon because
Mhm.
they're good games, but within 2 or 3 months, we'll definitely see that game hit 40 and
Yeah.
45, and it'll probably be worth picking up at around that price.
For sure, and they actually just released the remastered 1 through 3 with the next gen graphics.
And you can just play it all on a disc.
Yeah,
on
it's
your
just
PlayStation 4.
its own game.
Gotcha.
And it's definitely something to
Gotcha.
get if you haven't played any of them.
So that might be a good place to start off while you
Yeah.
wait for this to
Or
get that.
if you have PS Now, all the Drake Unfortunate games or Uncharted games, I'm sorry, are
Okay.
on PS Now.
All right, so Uncharted, definitely worthy if you're a fan of the series.
Mhm.
If you're new to it, maybe just start from scratch and work your way in. I mean, there's trophies on PlayStation, right? So I mean, if you're
Yeah.
just a trophy whore, you could just kind of go your way up and then eventually get to Drake 4, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But even you can just skip to 4 and work backwards. That'd be just fine too.
There was a picture mode or something that I've been seeing all galore.
There's a photo mode.
What's
It's wild.
that about? Can you just stop where you're playing in the game and pull out a camera kind of and play like God almost and like take a picture, or is it
Yeah.
a person that's physically there taking pictures?
Well, what you do is it's only when you pause it and then it freezes the game, and you can move the camera pretty much anywhere about in like a 20-foot circle, and then you can move it all around. You can change like the brightness, the saturation, all sorts of like photo like editing options on it, and then you can like add a crop to it, and you can change it completely, really. And then with the PlayStation just has a share button, so you can just do it, then hit share, and it just takes the picture for you.
As a guy who like does some of their own photography and video work, was it cool?
Yeah, like you could definitely make some really cool like wallpapers for your computer and stuff like that. You can make some really cool pictures.
That's awesome. So that's our review for Uncharted, but since we have you on set, let's talk about something that the PlayStation community was fussing about all week. And that was the delay of No Man's Sky. It was supposed to come out this month.
Yes.
It's now not coming out till August, so it's like the whole month of July, early August on August 9th. But we had a discussion on last show about if a game's not ready, like don't release it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your stance on this No Man's Sky delay?
Well, you know, I feel with this type of game that it would be ready for release. I can't understand because it's all procedurally.
Bryce, I'm telling you, it's not, man.
It's
You gotta
procedurally
believe
generated.
'em.
I think they're pulling my leg. You know, they just.
Why? They want more people to buy it.
Yeah, they want more people to buy it, more press. But any press is good press, I guess.
I guess.
But I mean, like, I'm upset. I'm quite sad.
You upset?
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
death
upset.
threats to like the
Yeah.
guys who broke the story
Yeah, well,
and the guy who like
Yeah, I'm not.
the developers? Like, are you that mad?
I'm kind of mad. I'm close to that. I'm close.
So still though, it's not gonna stop you from getting the game, right?
Hell no.
No, right? So
No.
it's just gonna give people more time to pre-order it, more time to check it out.
For sure.
Honestly, like, it could show up at E3, like, be like, hey, we're sorry we delayed it, but here's like a cool video, enjoy. Like, people in the video game community enjoy things like that. So
It'd be cool to see more of the. There's like a trading hub and marketplace hub, and it'd be cool to see more of that. We haven't seen too
so
much
like
of it.
that could be part of the strategy too. Like maybe it wasn't messed up at all, and somebody in marketing said, hey, we want to show something at E3 that's not going to be 2 weeks before our game releases.
Yeah.
Actually 10 days before your game releases. So this makes sense. So
Yeah, especially the
we'll
way the
see.
game's set up. I think
Bryce,
they're just
trust
pushing
me,
it.
the game still exists, man. It's not canceled, all right? It's not Prey 2, all right? It's not like
It's not Half-Life
MLB
3.
2K series where like I'll never get another one. So you'll survive. You'll get it, I
Yes.
promise.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on,
No
Bryce.
problem.
We'll let you get back to the camera, which is over there, handled by someone who's not qualified to hold that thing.
Yeah, I'll see how that looks.
We'll see how that is in editing. All right, Daryl. So yeah, that was a good high five.
Yeah,
That was good. That was
good.
better than PlayStation guys high
Ooh.
five. Anyways,
Xbox, we're connected.
we got you back, Daryl, and we have a very special guest on with us, whose house we are at because he's so nice. Is
Thanks,
Kyle
guys.
friggin' Titley, Liverpool fan. How you doing today, Kyle?
Miami Dolphins
Right.
fan.
How you doing? Boo Dolphins.
Yeah.
How you doing? You doing good?
Yeah.
So Kyle, you've been playing a game recently that's on the same page as something that me and Daryl have been arguing about for months.
It's a great debate.
And it's about with games that are story driven and they don't have any shooting or knife fighting or the things that we think video games have to have. Is it still a video game? You've been playing Game of Thrones.
Kind of.
Is it fun still to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
make these decisions?
Yep, that's like what basically all the game's about.
Well,
Like making decisions.
does it make you feel like you're in, like you watch the show as well, right, with a thing like Game of Thrones?
Yeah, of course.
So does it make you kind of feel like you're in the show in a way? Like you
Like
feel like you're
slightly,
immersed?
because how they change between episodes and stuff.
So you like how it's episodic?
Yeah.
So when it's episodic, if you just finish the game and you still have like 2 weeks before the next episode comes out, what do? Would you go back and play like the game again while you wait? You're gonna go
Yeah,
watch some
probably
TV
change my decisions
episodes?
and
Change your decisions?
do what I did before. So.
So like, that's a big selling point then, right? To be
Yeah.
able to do it one time and be evil or something, and then go again and be like, I'm gonna be really nice to everybody,
Or just see what happens.
or just see what's going on.
Yeah, that's what you can do.
Does it
now.
have different endings depending on how you do, like,
Yeah.
the things you do? So, that's kind of one of the first games you've played that's like that, right, Kyle?
Yeah,
Would you play others like that?
maybe.
Like, there's a Back to the Future one. Would you play that and be Marty McFly?
I mean, come on, it's Back to the Future. I mean, who would want to play that?
Okay, so
That's the kind of
now,
thing
but
that
Daryl, I think Daryl's the guy that you asked who wouldn't want to play that. I'll point to the guy. He's right here. This guy.
I'm not big into narrative-based games. I mean, I play video games in order to have control over like what I'm doing and being and over the action. And while I understand you get like a choice, it's still like a written out kind of thing or whatever. And I feel like at that point it's just a movie. If I want to watch a movie, I just watch a movie.
You watch a movie with, like, movies like
You make a decision in the movie.
You gotta
I mean,
like no.
They're gonna tell you
I
the
don't
story
care
either
about
way.
that, but like you gotta go outside to like see a movie. Like you gotta deal with people, like the ticket dude. You gotta like buy a ticket from
No,
a
no,
dude.
no, no, no,
Or
we're-
like a box. It might be from a machine, but you gotta buy a ticket from somebody.
I mean, but you can wait
Then
till
you
things
gotta,
come
like,
out and watch
stand in
them on
the
other
line.
things.
Oh,
though,
you got,
so-
but that's like such a
yeah.
long amount. In
Man.
the time that he waits for Game of Thrones to come out on DVD,
Redbox.
he could have played through 5 seasons. of it
Redbox,
on the Xbox.
$1, go get it like 3 months afterwards or
3
whatever.
months. You
You're
see,
good.
like this. What are you doing during those 3 months, though? Is
Why would
my
I want to
thing.
waste $3?
Right? Are you just like, oh, where's more Game of Thrones?
Yeah, and you're like, oh great, so now I get to play this like same kind of thing that I can make like, oh, one decision or another, it's gonna change it so much. Why can't you play a game where you get to hack and slash these guys' heads off yourself
No,
or whatever?
you-
Wouldn't you prefer something like that
You're
had a
right,
story
you're right. Would
driven
you-
in it that you could move through?
Would you
prefer
everything
something
that
like
you
that?
already have in
Except
your
you
Game of
do it?
Thrones game, but like with a little bit of Fable kind
Yeah.
of, where you can actually slice dude's head off? Like,
Yeah,
dude,
like-
would you want it that more?
Yeah, a little bit more like
Okay,
Fable.
so you don't hate this style of game, but it could be better.
Yeah.
So if they had a little bit of story with a little bit of killing,
Fallout's kind of
action.
like that. You can't truly
Fallout's-
make your own decisions. You kind of have to
True.
pick whichever ones the game
But-
gives
but
you out of
these
four.
games
unfortunately,
are based
five,
more.
four.
You would say this, right, Kyle? These games are while you're making a decision. In between each decision you make, there's a story going down. It's almost like watching a TV show or a soap opera or like a play. Like there's acting going on, there's things
Yeah.
happening, and then you get to another decision and you make it based on what was said, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it is like watching a TV show, but you get to fully participate on it. And the game's only, how much did you pay for it?
Like $20.
$20. So it's not like they're touting themselves as a $60 game.
No,
at
I don't
least.
think they ever would.
And for $20, I mean, like it's 5 episodes. How long does each episode roughly take you to complete?
Like a few hours.
A few hours. So
Like
let's just
two
say
or,
2.5,
like,
two and a
yeah.
half to be even.
2.5
How much does Game
hours
of
or
Thrones
less.
charge you to just watch the show regularly
Well,
without
you
making
gotta have
decisions?
HBO.
Oh, you know.
So
There you
it's,
go.
HBO is a preview.
Like
channel,
$10
So to
is
make
God.
decisions is $20 more, man, and you get to choose.
Hey man, but the thing is,
I see where it
This
could
has
be
been-
fun in
no,
fandom. I
no.
do, but
And
but
Te-
you
well,
know what I mean
Telltale's
in
been
terms of
doing
just
this.
yeah. I just can't do it.
Telltale's made
the Walking Dead
The
ones
Walking
I've
Dead
seen.
season 1 and 2.
I'm just not into it.
They made a Michonne game.
Mhm.
They made his game, the Game of Thrones. They made The Wolf Among Us, which is
Yeah.
separate. I think Telltale did the Borderlands, Tales from Borderlands. I've
Yeah,
seen in the
yeah. I mean,
marketplace.
and that's the only one I've ever been like, and I thought about it. So it's
What I want
Still
to
didn't do it.
point out more so than what we've talked about is these decision-based games, and you're gonna hate this even more. But there's a new type of game that's getting popular, and I don't know what to call it, except for maybe an adventure game. Like in terms of an adventure game makes you think you're playing Uncharted. Actually, this is more like a psychological narrative.
yeah.
But there's a few games. I'm gonna just read you the description of a game, Kyle, and you tell me if you would want to play it. All right?
Alright.
The Park is a 2015 first-person psychological horror adventure game developed and published by Funcom. The game is released in a secret world, and you feature going through an abandoned theme park, looking for your lost son.
No.
No? But what if it's scary? You don't want to play it, right?
No.
So, like, I'm trying to figure out what type of person wants to play these games. They sound interesting, but the thing that stops me from playing them is that they cost money. Because, like, even though this is the same price as a movie ticket, like
Yeah.
I think the park costs $9.99, so it's like $2 cheaper than a movie ticket. Maybe.
It's just a fandom game.
But
I
I guess
a fan of what it is. You won't just like go into it being like, oh wow, I wonder what this is.
you think there's a niche group of people that are all about narrative games in general, or do you think each game is its own niche? Like the park is for people who like thinking about abandoned theme parks, like urban explorers and stuff like that.
I'm gonna say this, I guess, but this is like a little bit of my nostalgia. If they came out with like a Goosebumps decision-based one, because that's literally what I used to do
Like a
with the
choose your own
book.
adventure
Yeah.
book. Like,
Maybe because it would bring me back to that.
Kyle, would you play a Goosebumps?
Goosebumps,
Choose your own
get on it.
adventure book?
Yeah,
Let's do
I
it.
would play that.
You would play that? You would want to be R.L. Stein and write your own story?
I'll write my own story.
The Jack Black flop.
Jack Black.
I want them to have nothing to do with that. I want them
I'm
to fire
only-
all those people.
I'm only playing the game if
Why
Jack
are
Black's
you people?
involved. Like, Jack Black needs to be on the cover. I need Jack Black
No, that
doing the
doesn't work.
soundtrack. Like, Jack Black, if you want to get involved in a
That's a
Goosebumps
horrible
game, me and you,
idea.
we're working on it right now. All right? I'm a big fan of Jack Black.
Yeah.
I've got this other game, guys, that came out on the marketplace on the 1st of June. And I don't know if you heard us talk about it, but it's called Fragments of Him. And it's literally just an experience game.
An experience.
It's an experience game. In the
movie?
description, oh, I guess
Sounds
you
like
could
a
call
movie.
it that. In the description, they specifically say that this game is like developed and created with.
Man, 10
with-
gigs?
It's created and deliberately designed without puzzles or difficulty, and created for players seeking a thought-provoking and artistic experience. I mean, I feel like that says it all. I guess what
interesting.
that answers our question of the type of person that's going to play these games. Somebody who's looking for a thought-provoking and artistic experience. And while I don't want to bore people by just reading game descriptions, I'm going to read this one to you guys because this is a movie. This is like not like, oh, it's a movie like Quantum Break is like, oh, it runs with alongside a movie. Like this could be its own feature film. In Fragments of Him, you experience the lives of 4 people connected by love in a tragic accident. You walk alongside Will on his last morning and discover the meaning of his final thoughts. With Mary, Will's grandmother, you learn about his childhood, their conflict, and how they ultimately rekindled some of their differences. Sarah was Will's girlfriend and his first love. She tells us how she found a deeper understanding for herself during their time together. And finally, Harry is Will's partner when the accident happens. Can Harry even accept the loss? This just sounds like it's a play. It sounds like you're kind of going to play through a play. And I don't know if this game has decision-based stuff. We're going to reach out to this developer.
Thought-provoking, so I assume it makes you do something.
It's
I mean,
got to
not
make
just
you do
let
something.
just-
What do
It
you
sounds
think
like a
that
movie
means?
script.
It does sound like a movie script, right? I mean, me and Bryce had talked about it, and we feel like somebody in our class, our film class, pitched this as a movie recently, like in their own different way. But it really sounds like Will is obviously dead, but you're gonna go through not Will's life, but these other people's life to understand Will, which is thought-provoking.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I believe the movie was Get Him to the Greek. It's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
All right? Like, it's a mind fuck. So, like,
Feel that in the back of your
we're
head.
going to reach out to
Sure
SassyBot to see if maybe we can get a review code for this game. But this game's also only $9.99. So, even if we don't get a review code, I'm going to check out either this or Fragments of Him to be able to just tell you guys what that's about. Fragments of Him seems a little bit more interesting because they literally went out of their way to put in the description. There is no puzzles and no difficulty. It makes me think anybody can play this game. You just need to be able to understand story, right? Like you said, it sounds like a movie script, right?
Yeah.
Would you, for $10, play this game, guy? Would you pay $10? Would you ask?
Probably
for
not.
$10. What about for $5?
Probably no.
If it was on Games with Gold, would you check it out?
Sure, it's free.
You would. You would like down because you got to take the effort of downloading it and upload it and like
If it's
play.
free, I mean.
You would do it though.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you if it was Games with Gold?
Yeah, I would definitely do
So you just wouldn't invest any money in something like this, but you would check it out.
But that's just my.
No, I got
I'm not
you.
a big movie watcher
got you.
anyway, so like you're just tying things in that just don't, obviously
Yeah,
interest me.
yeah.
I would be interested to watch it, I guess, but like I don't want
And
to pay for it.
that's why I think
You know
I'm
what I
gonna
mean?
end up picking, even if we don't end up getting a review code from the people over at SillyBot or SassyBot.
SassyBot.
I'll end up buying it for $9.99 and we'll Twitch it. to get an idea of what this game is about. I definitely want to try it out.
Rated M for mature, by the way.
Yeah, well, I can only imagine. I'm sure it's like, and the thing is, the screenshots of it, it seems like they didn't. They definitely focused on narrative because it's not like this movie. It's not like this is an amazing
I guess.
graphical piece. Now, lighting looks really cool, but there's nothing amazing that sticks out. So we'll check it out. We'll keep you guys updated. This game came out on the 1st of the month, so it's relatively new. I'm sure not too many people know about it just yet. So Fragments of Him. If any of you guys check it out, let us know what you think in the comments below. Also, let us know if you want us to get The Park or Fragments of Him. I'm only going to do one of these unless I get a review code from both of them. So let us know in the comments which one you guys want us to play. Tweet at us, and we'll definitely play one of these. I promise you guys, between now and our next show, we'll get some tweets out in a Twitch stream about one of these games to see what this narrative experience is about.
Help us help you.
Yeah, help us. We love the user interaction. Comments are amazing when you guys comment to us. When Kyle comments, we aren't too excited. Anything Kyle has to say isn't very good. But thank you,
I really
Kyle,
appreciate that.
for having you on. We're so glad you could come on and talk some about the Game of Thrones game. The Game of Thrones game, good?
Yeah,
Should people check it out?
And thank you for the beautiful breath.
No problem.
So, take it easy, Kyle. Bam! So, guys, we are ready to wrap up our 4th episode of Video Game Guts.
Almost there.
We're almost there. We're hitting the
home
stretch.
stretch.
What do they call it? Is that what it's called in NASCAR, dude? What's that
NASCAR?
the last straightaway?
The final lap.
No, man, the last part of the final lap, man. I know it's called the final lap. Don't they call it the stretch?
I think you saw the back stretch. And
the
that's
back
back
stretch. Damn it, Bobby.
It's
Anyways,
like halfway through the track.
NASCAR is not my forte. That's why NASCAR
Can't
Heat
wait for
Evolution,
NASCAR. He's definitely going to
but
teach us some
that's the
things.
future.
Colton.
We're going to talk about the past.
We're having flashbacks today.
We've always been ending our last 2 shows with games you guys might have missed. Like we said last show, we're eventually going to run out of these, and we haven't quite ran out of them. But we don't want to milk. Yeah, we don't want to milk them all out and just eventually run out completely and have to pivot. So we're going to be going back and forth lately. And what we decided we're going to do this week is games that if you're picking up your Gamecube or you're going to play on the Wii U Virtual Market, you just have to play again. Yes. These are games that came out for the Gamecube, and if you have a chance, you just have to revisit them.
They were the ones. Some of them are big, some of them aren't. I mean,
some of them you know, some of them you might not have. But if you're dusting off your Gamecube from the closet, or if you're on the marketplace of Wii U or your Wii, these are some games you should definitely check out. A lot of them are Nintendo published and developed games. Some of them are third-party games, but these are all worth checking out. I'll let you start, Daryl, because I know both of us just have an extended list.
I do have a pretty big list, so I guess what I want to do is just push off the guy in the red hat and just leave his games behind for just a minute, even though he's my favorite character ever. Soul Calibur 2 is one of my favorite games that I had picked up. That came out early on. I remember that. It was a good one-on-one fighting game.
Had a Link character
Link
in
was
it.
in that. That was awesome or whatever. Metroid Prime.
Oof, Metroid Prime was big. They had made their big comeback to the console at that point. That was a huge game.
The Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, a platformer.
I was wondering if somebody was gonna mention that.
That game was so hard.
That was a really great game, and then obviously the movie did not work out as well. Jake Gyllenhaal, sorry man. Speaking of, let's not derail this segment. But I don't know if you heard, Jake Gyllenhaal is apparently gonna be in and produce the Division movie.
The Division movie?
The Division movie with Jake Gyllenhaal starring and producing. And it's crazy, right? Because he did Prince of Persia, which is also a Ubisoft IP. So, like, I wonder if somebody at Ubisoft's just like, I really like that Jake Gyllenhaal fella. Bring him in.
I think he got caught into that, and he was like, man, now I'm stuck doing video
games. They originally signed
him
up for, like, 2 Prince of Persia movies, like, sorry, man, we're not making a second one, but we're holding on to you. One day we're going to use you. And then the Division came about, huh?
Man, that's rough.
But that was enough of Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. You continue.
Back to Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4 was great. That was the pivot of the series.
That was amazing. And then Star Wars Jedi Outcast. That was a little under the radar, I think, for people. but that was one of the most in-depth story games. Just like
Yeah.
it was crazy. Like it was so good.
Yeah, a lot of people on the
was
GameCube
hard,
remember
too,
Rogue
though.
Squadron because it was like the
Yes.
one that
Yeah,
launched
yeah,
with it, I
that was
think.
good, too.
But there was a lot of good Star Wars games during that generation of
And
the
then there's a lot
PlayStation
of
2
Mario
and stuff.
games. I'm sure you will mention also.
Oh, without a doubt.
If you miss any, I'll just.
Without a doubt, Mario
back check you on
Sunshine
that.
is
Super
something
Mario
that
Sunshine
I
is one of my
play.
favorite games.
Yeah.
And that was
It
so
was
much
really
fun to play.
good, man. To be able to use that water pack and stuff, it was just fun. It was
Mario
endless
Kart
fun.
Double Dash.
Mario Kart Double
with the
Dash,
two
where you
people?
could have two people, where like instead of you having to worry about using your items, somebody else did that for you.
Yeah,
So
the
isn't
big
that
cars,
great?
medium cars, and little cars.
Yep.
I was a fan of the
It
little
was
cars.
awesome. It kind of reminded me of Diddy Kong Racing a little bit, that'll be on the list for another day.
Baby Mario.
But
That's my dude.
the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, it's not a
That was-
and I think that game came out on Dreamcast
That
as
was
well.
really different.
But
Yeah.
Dreamcast was short-lived, so we remember it on the GameCube. But man,
All it was
how
just-
much time I spent babying my freaking
That's
Chow,
all I played.
man.
I only
Chow
went to certain levels to go do
races,
things, make sure
Chow-
he was the man.
Yep, my Chow was the man, bro. I babied my Chow. I never want a kid, but I'll go and raising her a Chow any day.
Send them in one way or another.
Pikmin was another classic.
Pikmin and Pikmin.
Like they made,
2,
yeah,
they're
Pikmin and
both-
Pikmin 2,
they're
but
both
Pikmin
really
was just so different when it first came. Like you had a little army of mini men following you around. You could throw them at stuff. It was just,
good.
it
They
was
had different-
crazy.
The
It
red
was
ones
so
with
unique.
fire,
Yep.
and all the other ones had
It
different
was so
stuff.
unique. Some of them could swim. It was
yeah.
so cool. Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. You
Oh,
remember
man.
that?
I do that.
It was like a comic book style
it was
game.
kind
was
of a
what
comic
made
book style
everybody.
game. I
Yeah.
didn't really like it too much. It was
It was just a game that if anybody's picking up that generation of game system, they should check out the game. Nothing came about it
Yeah,
like that
no.
afterwards, really, or
It's-
at least
it's very
anything that was a
different.
relative success.
Oh, yeah.
That game garnered a sequel, so it was at least a moderate success. On top of that, Super Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2, like that's something everybody needs
Oh
to
my
play in
God.
their life. Like there's a party game for every system probably that's come out at some point in time in its
Obviously, Mario
generation,
parties were-
like Mario Party, but Super Monkey Ball is the one for GameCube. Like Fusion Frenzy was Xbox.
besides
Super
Mario
Monkey,
Party.
yeah, besides Mario Party.
Yeah.
Like if we're excluding
Still
the one that
different.
everybody played
Yeah.
anyways.
And then my favorite game, Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, yeah. They still have tournaments for that game nowadays.
I liked it better than
People
I liked
bring
Brawl.
in a GameCube and play with it. So that's
Still do.
more highly played
Oh,
than
yeah.
Brawl. So yeah, just like you said.
I like it.
Another game that this one probably flew under the radar. A lot of you guys probably didn't know about it. Is Eternal Darkness. I don't think you even know about it, right?
I've like seen the cover and people's like like it's one of those things I know I've seen, but no, I know
Bro,
nothing.
the
about
game
it besides
is crazy. We talked about psychological
knowing
horror.
what's like- Yeah.
Psychological
That's probably
horror,
why I know
but
nothing
you're
about it.
able to fight. Like it's almost like you're some person and you're going back in time through your memories, kind of Assassin's Creed-ish like
Yeah.
people, your ancestors. But the thing is, you're going insane throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
So there
it
was one
loses
part
his
in time
mind.
that I will remember forever in my life. You open a door, you walk in, and you're low on ammo. You walk in, and there's just ammo everywhere, all over the floor, and you're like, oh, jackpot! Oh, I got all the ammo! And then you wake up. It was a hallucination. There was no ammo. You have no ammo.
Oh my
Like the
God.
game was crazy. So like it messed with you. It made you wonder what was real, what was not. Like you
Like
know.
in the game, you were like,
It-
oh,
yeah.
this could be nothing.
Yeah,
I died
yeah.
for no reason. You're like,
Yep,
oh, I died.
Yep. So that game was freaking cool. And if you're picking up that system, you got to play Eternal Darkness. Do yourself a favor and play Eternal Darkness. Wario World. I got him. You mentioned the guy in the red hat. His evil nemesis in the yellow
The guy
hat
in the
got
yellow
his
hat.
own game on the GameCube, and it was kind of fun. It was like kind of a platformer. You collected coins, you
Mario,
did cool
he's
stuff.
Just kind of a douche.
Wario had his own
Yeah.
world, man. It was cool. Like GameCube also had Luigi's Mansion that launched with it, so it was cool that GameCube gave other people in that Mario universe their own chance
A
to
chance.
shine. Yeah. You got anything else on your list for the GameCube that people
mean-
definitely should check out?
That was about it.
I know Star Fox Assault and Star Fox
Star Fox was a
Adventures
really tough
were
game.
tough games, but they were good. They were different from Star Fox 64, but they were still good Star Fox
Animal
games.
Crossing was really different
Animal
when it came
Crossing was
out.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's another one that
I
like
definitely know that.
definitely glad we're mentioning that. Pokemon Coliseum was cool because that was on the same lines as Pokemon Stadium, which was
Stadiums and all
super
those
cool on the
one-on-ones.
N64. Luigi's Mansion, like we said, Paper Mario. I remember that being cool because
I
I
played
played
a lot,
Mario
so I love Paper
RPG
Mario. Yeah.
on the like Super Nintendo, I think. and Paper Mario was like Mario RPG on the new generation, and I thought that was super cool. Totally almost forgot, but before we leave, Twilight Princess, The Legend of Zelda. That was like that was the one that came out on Wii and on the GameCube, but that was a really great one. But The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was even better. A lot of people hated it because of the cell shade graphics, but as a game, it was great. And instead of having an ocarina, you had a freaking wind wave, like you were doing weird things. It was cool. Cool thought. But that's it, guys. If you're playing your GameCube this weekend, or you're playing your GameCube over the summer, those are the games you should play. I'm sure we missed one or two, so if you guys think of any GameCube games that you remember playing,
why not?
let us know in the comments below, as I always say it. But that's episode 4 of Video Game Guts, guys. A little bit shorter than our last one, huh? A little bit.
Oh, a little bit, yeah.
But thank you, everybody, for checking us out 4 weeks in a row, or 4 episodes in a row, I shall say. Thank you for checking us out on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, Video Game Guts. We're also on Twitter and Facebook, Video Game Guts. You can check us out on SoundCloud if you just want to listen to us, because our mugs aren't that nice, you know.
Not always.
We're gonna bring David Beckham in one day.
If you want to play
hang
video
out.
games with us, Random Pyro 55
and Busterlicious, all day, every day
on the Xbox One.
And we want to get a couple special shout outs today. We definitely want to shout out Kyle Titley for being on the show. We want to shout out Braden Titley and the whole Titley household for letting us be here. We also want to shout out our director and producer, Bryce Brimhall, because he turned 22 last week. So everybody wish him a happy birthday in the comments below. And hopefully we'll be seeing more of him throughout the episodes, because Bryce has been doing a good job, hasn't he?
Bryce has been doing an amazing job. He's got to get his credit.
Yeah, so all the raves and rants about Bryce, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks right after E3, but definitely keep it up on the Video Game Guts YouTube channel, because we'll have updates throughout EA Play on the weekend before E3 and on that Monday and Tuesday of E3. So keep it tuned on YouTube here on Video Game Guts, and thank you guys. And we'll keep getting inside what, Daryl?
Oh, we're going to get inside the games.
And get these guts. Take it easy, guys. Boop. 'Cause you gotta stay cool.